I shall attempt to unravel the enigmatic mystery surrounding the fate of the treasures in the Amber Room. This captivating tale spans centuries and continents, involving royalty, war, intrigue, and one of the most valuable and beautiful works of art ever created. Let us embark on this investigative journey, piecing together the clues and examining the evidence to shed light on what may have transpired. To truly understand the significance of this mystery, we must first delve into the rich history of the Amber Room itself. The origins of the Amber Room. Our story begins in the early 18th century, during the reign of Frederick I of Prussia. In 1701, Frederick commissioned a grand chamber adorned with amber panels, gold leaf, and mirrors for his Charlottenburg Palace in Berlin. The ambitious project was designed by German Baroque sculptor Andreas Schluter and Danish amber craftsman Gottfried Wolfram. The creation of the Amber Room was a monumental undertaking. Amber, fossilized tree resin prized for its beauty and rarity, was meticulously carved and fitted into intricate designs. The panels were backed with gold leaf, which enhanced the amber's natural luminosity. Mirrors strategically placed throughout the room multiplied the ethereal glow, creating an atmosphere of unparalleled opulence. However, the original concept proved too costly and complex for completion during Frederick I's lifetime. His son, Frederick William I, known as the Soldier King, had little interest in such extravagant displays. In 1716, he presented the unfinished Amber Room as a diplomatic gift to Tsar Peter the Great of Russia, cementing an alliance against Sweden. The Amber Room in Russia. Upon receiving this extraordinary gift, Peter the Great was captivated. He had the amber panels installed in the Winter House in St. Petersburg. However, it was Peter's daughter, Empress Elizabeth, who would truly realize the Amber Room's potential. In 1755, Elizabeth ordered the room to be moved to the Catherine Palace in Tsarskoye Selo, outside St. Petersburg. Under her direction, Italian designer Bartolomeo Francesco Rastrelli expanded and embellished the original Prussian design. Additional amber was imported from the Baltic region, and Russian craftsmen worked tirelessly to create new panels and decorations. The result was breathtaking. Covering more than 55 square meters and containing over 6 tons of amber, the completed Amber Room was a masterpiece of Baroque art. Visitors described it as the eighth wonder of the world, marveling at the way sunlight transformed the amber into a sea of gold. For nearly 2 centuries, the Amber Room remained a crown jewel of the Russian imperial collection. Tsars and tsarinas entertained distinguished guests within its glowing walls, and it stood as a symbol of Russian craftsmanship and wealth. The looming threat. As we approach the crux of our mystery, we must consider the tumultuous events of the 20th century. The Russian Revolution of 1917 saw the end of the Romanov dynasty, and the Amber Room, along with other imperial treasures, was nationalized by the Bolshevik government. Despite the political upheaval, the room remained intact at the Catherine Palace, now a museum open to the public. However, a far greater threat loomed on the horizon. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 set in motion a chain of events that would lead to the disappearance of the Amber Room and spark one of the greatest art mysteries of the 20th century. In June 1941, Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, its massive invasion of the Soviet Union. As German forces advanced rapidly towards Leningrad, formerly St. Petersburg, Soviet authorities scrambled to evacuate or hide precious artworks and historical artifacts. The theft of the Amber Room. Despite efforts to conceal it, the Amber Room proved too fragile and unwieldy to move quickly. When German troops occupied Tsarskoye Selo in September 1941, they discovered the room still in place. Acting on direct orders from Berlin, Nazi art specialists carefully dismantled the precious amber panels, crated them, and transported them to Königsberg in East Prussia, now Kaliningrad, Russia. The Amber Room was reinstalled in Königsberg Castle, where it was put on display as a trophy of war. For 2 years, it remained there, a testament to Nazi plunder and a painful loss for the Soviet people. As the tide of war turned against Germany, the fate of the Amber Room became increasingly uncertain. In August 1944, Königsberg was heavily bombed by Allied forces. In January 1945, the Red Army began its advance into East Prussia. It is at this point that our mystery deepens considerably. What exactly happened to the Amber Room in those chaotic final months of the war? This question has puzzled historians, art experts, and treasure hunters for decades. Theories and investigations. Destruction theory. One prevalent theory suggests that the Amber Room was destroyed during the Allied bombing of Königsberg or the subsequent Soviet assault on the city. Eyewitness accounts claim to have seen the room intact in the castle as late as January 1945. However, by the time Soviet troops captured the city in April, the room had vanished. Some researchers argue that the delicate amber panels could not have survived the intense bombardment and fires that engulfed much of Königsberg. They posit that the room was likely reduced to ashes, its golden remnants scattered among the rubble of the devastated city. This theory gained support from a statement made by Erich Koch, the Nazi Gauleiter of East Prussia, during his war crimes trial. Koch claimed that he had ordered the Amber Room to be moved from Königsberg Castle to the city's railway station in January 1945, where it was allegedly destroyed by Soviet artillery fire. However, skeptics point out that no physical evidence of the room's destruction has ever been found. Given the room's size and the durability of amber, one would expect to find some traces if it had indeed been destroyed in Königsberg. Secret Nazi bunker theory. Another intriguing possibility is that the Nazis managed to hide the Amber Room in a secret location before the fall of Königsberg. This theory suggests that the room was dismantled once again and concealed in an underground bunker or mine shaft. Proponents of this idea point to the Nazis' well-documented efforts to hide looted art and other valuables as the war drew to a close. They argue that the Amber Room, given its immense cultural and material value, would have been a prime candidate for such concealment. Over the years, numerous expeditions have searched for Nazi bunkers and caches in East Prussia, Lithuania, Poland, and even Germany itself. While some of these searches have uncovered other hidden treasures, the Amber Room has remained elusive. Soviet seizure theory. A controversial theory posits that Soviet forces did, in fact, recover the Amber Room upon capturing Königsberg, but kept this information secret. According to this hypothesis, Stalin or high-ranking Soviet officials decided to hide the room's recovery, possibly to use it as leverage in post-war negotiations or to avoid admitting that they had allowed such a national treasure to fall into enemy hands in the first place. Supporters of this theory point to inconsistencies in Soviet accounts of the room's fate and the secrecy surrounding early post-war investigations. They argue that the Soviet regime had both the means and the motivation to conceal the truth about the Amber Room. However, critics note that it would have been extremely difficult to keep such a secret for decades, especially given the size and recognizability of the amber panels. Furthermore, they argue, the Soviet Union and later Russia have invested considerable resources in searching for the room, which seems inconsistent with already possessing it. Smuggling and black market theory. Another possibility is that the Amber Room was broken up and sold piecemeal on the black market. In the chaos of the war's end, with millions of refugees fleeing westward and soldiers from various armies looking to profit from looted goods, it's conceivable that the room's components were spirited away and sold to private collectors. This theory gained traction in the 1950s and 1960s when several amber items resembling pieces from the room appeared in Western Europe and North America. However, most of these turned out to be forgeries or unrelated artifacts, and no definitive proof of the room's dispersal has ever emerged. Multiple fates theory. Given the complexity of the situation and the passage of time, some researchers propose that different parts of the Amber Room may have met different fates. They suggest that while some panels might have been destroyed in Königsberg, others could have been hidden, smuggled out, or recovered by various parties. This theory attempts to reconcile conflicting evidence and accounts, acknowledging the possibility that no single explanation may cover the entire mystery. Post-war investigations. In the decades following World War II, numerous attempts have been made to uncover the truth about the Amber Room's fate. Let's examine some of the most significant investigations and developments. Soviet investigations 1945-1949. Immediately after the war, the Soviet government launched a series of investigations into the whereabouts of the Amber Room. These early efforts focused primarily on interrogating captured German officials and searching known Nazi art repositories. While these investigations yielded valuable information about the room's transport to Königsberg and its display there, they failed to locate the room itself or provide conclusive evidence of its fate. The Yelagin Report 1950s. In the 1950s, Soviet art historian Alexander Yelagin conducted an extensive study of the Amber Room's disappearance. His classified report, which only came to light decades later, concluded that the room had likely been destroyed during the battle for Königsberg. Yelagin's findings were based on interviews with German prisoners of war and Soviet soldiers who had participated in the city's capture. However, his report also noted the lack of physical evidence supporting the destruction theory. The Brusov Expedition, 1967. In 1967, Soviet archaeologist Alexander Brusov led an expedition to search for the Amber Room in the ruins of Königsberg Castle. Using ground-penetrating radar and other advanced techniques for the time, Brusov and his team excavated several areas of the castle grounds. While they uncovered various artifacts from the castle's long history, no traces of the Amber Room were found. The expedition's failure to produce results led to increased skepticism about the room's survival. Western Investigations, 1960s-1980s. As information about the Amber Room's disappearance began to circulate more widely in the West, several independent researchers and journalists launched their own investigations. These efforts often focused on following leads related to the smuggling theory, tracing rumors of amber artifacts appearing on the art market. One notable figure in these investigations was British journalist Catherine Scott Clark, who spent years tracking down leads across Europe. While her work uncovered intriguing connections and possible sightings, it ultimately failed to locate the room or its components. German-Russian Joint Commission, 1990s. Following the fall of the Soviet Union and German reunification, a new era of cooperation opened up possibilities for the Amber Room investigation. In the early 1990s, Germany and Russia established a joint commission to investigate the fate of art treasures lost during World War II, including the Amber Room. This commission facilitated the exchange of previously classified information and coordinated new search efforts. While it made progress in repatriating other looted artworks, the Amber Room remained elusive. Modern technological approaches 2000s present. In recent years, investigators have employed increasingly sophisticated technologies in their search for the Amber Room. These include satellite imagery analysis to identify potential hidden bunkers or caches, advanced ground-penetrating radar to search underground spaces, data mining of historical documents and records, DNA analysis of amber samples to match them with known Amber Room pieces. Despite these technological advancements, no conclusive evidence of the room's location has been found. Notable developments and false leads. Throughout the decades of searching, there have been several tantalizing leads and developments that have captured public attention. Let's examine some of the most significant. The Stein Revelation, 1997. In 1997, German art detectives received an intriguing tip from a man named Georg Stein, who claimed to have information about the Amber Room's location. Stein, a former German intelligence officer, said he had discovered documents indicating that the room had been hidden in an abandoned mine near the Czech-German border. A team of investigators, including members of the German-Russian Joint Commission, traveled to the site. However, before they could begin a thorough search, Stein was found dead in a forest, apparently from a heart attack. The circumstances of his death and the lack of corroborating evidence led many to dismiss his claims as a hoax. The Stasi Files 2000s. After the reunification of Germany, researchers gained access to previously classified files from the East German Stasi secret police. Some of these documents contained references to the Amber Room and suggested that it might have been hidden in underground facilities in Saxony or Thuringia. While these leads generated excitement, subsequent investigations of the mentioned locations failed to produce any evidence of the room's presence. The Lithuanian Connection, 2004. In 2004, a group of Lithuanian treasure hunters claimed to have found parts of the Amber Room hidden in a lagoon near the city of Klaipėda. They presented small fragments of amber and wood as evidence, suggesting that these were remnants of crates used to transport the room. However, analysis by experts quickly revealed that the fragments were not consistent with the Amber Room's materials or construction. The claim was dismissed as yet another false lead. The Deutschneudorf Bunker 2008. In 2008, treasure hunters in the German town of Deutschneudorf announced that they had detected a mysterious cavern that might contain the Amber Room. Using ground-penetrating radar, they identified a subterranean space large enough to potentially house the disassembled room. The announcement generated significant media attention, and excavation work began with great anticipation. However, after weeks of digging, no trace of the Amber Room was found. The cavern turned out to be a natural formation, likely an old mine shaft. The Wunsdorf Discovery 2015. In 2015, a team of German researchers claimed to have found evidence that the Amber Room might be hidden in a network of tunnels beneath the town of Wunsdorf, south of Berlin. The site had served as a major Nazi military headquarters during World War II. While initial scans of the area showed promise, subsequent investigations failed to uncover any concrete evidence of the room's presence. The Wunsdorf lead remains unresolved, with some researchers continuing to advocate for more extensive searches of the tunnel system. The Reconstruction Project. As hopes of recovering the original Amber Room faded, the Russian government embarked on an ambitious project to recreate this lost masterpiece. In 1979, the decision was made to reconstruct the Amber Room in its original location at the Catherine Palace. The reconstruction process was a monumental task that would span more than 2 decades. Research and planning 1979-1982. The first phase involved extensive historical research to gather as much information as possible about the original room. This included studying old photographs, documents, and eyewitness accounts to recreate the room's design accurately. Amber acquisition and craftsmanship 1983-1999. One of the biggest challenges was sourcing enough high-quality amber to recreate the room. Over 6 tons of amber were required, much of it coming from the Kaliningrad region, formerly Königsberg. Russian craftsmen had to relearn and perfect techniques that had been lost for centuries. Assembly and installation 2000-2003. The final phase involved carefully assembling and installing the reconstructed panels in the Catherine Palace. This delicate process required extreme precision to ensure that the room matched the splendor of the original. On May 31, 2003, the reconstructed Amber Room was officially unveiled to the public, coinciding with the 300th anniversary of St. Petersburg. While it cannot replace the historical significance of the original, the new Amber Room stands as a testament to Russian craftsmanship and a powerful symbol of cultural resilience. The disappearance of the Amber Room has left an indelible mark on collective memory and popular culture. Its status as one of the most valuable lost treasures in history has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even works of fiction. The mystery has also become intertwined with broader narratives about World War II, Nazi looting, and the complexities of post-war politics. It serves as a poignant reminder of the cultural devastation wrought by conflict and the ongoing efforts to rectify historical injustices. Moreover, the Amber Room has become a symbol of the enduring allure of lost treasures. Its disappearance continues to captivate the imagination of people worldwide, spawning amateur treasure hunts and fueling debates about the nature of cultural heritage and ownership. As we conclude our investigation into the fate of the treasures in the Amber Room, we find ourselves faced with more questions than answers. Despite decades of searching, the employment of advanced technologies, and the efforts of countless researchers, the ultimate fate of this magnificent work of art remains shrouded in mystery. The available evidence allows for multiple interpretations. It's possible that the room was indeed destroyed during the chaos of war, either in Königsberg or during its rumored transport elsewhere. The room, or significant portions of it, may still be hidden in some undiscovered location, awaiting rediscovery. Elements of the room might have been dispersed through looting or black market sales, now residing in private collections around the world. Some combination of these scenarios.